It's been a few weeks since I've posted a video on YouTube, leaving maybe some of you wondering, where has she been? What has she been up to? Or perhaps nobody's asked these questions and nobody really cares, which is okay too. Either way, I am here to answer some of those asked or unasked questions.
Welcome, welcome, old friends, some new perhaps. I am excited to get out here in my garden, and if it wasn't already evident, I have not been out here for the better part of 2 months. This is what a garden looks like in absolute neglect. It doesn't typically thrive in neglect. So I'm here to kind of answer maybe some questions. Where have I been? What have I been up to? What are my plans for the channel moving forward and everything? And more importantly, what is growing on in my garden? My name is Shelby, and let's get started. So, was I quitting YouTube? Did I have a change of heart and decide to start posting again? Oh my God. There's a huge... Okay, there's a huge bug right there. Was I giving up gardening because of the bugs? Was I just too overwhelmed? Pretty much no to all of those questions. Now, I love YouTube. I love filming. I love posting content for you guys, and nothing is ever going to change this heart from loving gardening. Now, I did have to unfortunately take a little hiatus. I hated it, but of course, sometimes in life, that is what needs to be done. As you can see, there are still remnants from my winter garden, old cabbages that are burnt to a crisp. I have, there's my little coffee. I have this raised garden bed that I was showing you guys a few months ago was starting to give out, and it finally has just completely busted on the side. Now, I certainly have my work cut out for me. It is just like weeds galore. They are happy as a clam. The only things that really do seem like are thriving are my banana trees, which look at how beautiful these banana trees are. It's like the only thing that's keeping me going, as well as my papaya trees, which I did not plant. These were from my old papaya tree. I guess just a few papayas landed on the ground and they did their thing. So that's super cool. Just a minute while I get a little set up. Now, I don't want to leave you guys hanging for too long because, of course, that's probably why you clicked on this video, to, if not have some curiosity, why was this girl gone for so long? Or maybe you're a first-time viewer and you're just curious and bored. So we decided a few months ago, we've been talking actually for years about getting our house renovated. Now, our house is old. It's from the 1970s, and things were literally falling apart. The ceiling was falling apart onto the ground. The cabinets were falling apart into themselves, and it was just time to do something about it. As many of you know, with this current market, it's hard to move and find something else. And thankfully, when we did buy this house, we saw a world of potential, and we got really lucky, honestly, buying it when we did, right before things got crazy. So we decided this house we are still wholeheartedly in love with. We love the property, the location, all of that. So it's time to renovate the house and start investing back into it. So that required us to move out of the house. We have been out of our house for about 6 weeks now, and about a week before that, it was just all hands on deck moving out of the house. Every single item that we owned, we had to move out of the house because we were getting new floors and we were getting the popcorn removed from the ceiling. So there was no way we could live in the house during that time. So we left the house in the end of May, and we have just gotten back home after all of that. We are still in the process of moving in box by box and trying to get comfortable in our new environment, which is really exciting. So that is why I literally have not been able to even step foot in my garden. I would never neglect her for this long ever. I could never. It's just not my character. But unfortunately, because we were just not here, our Airbnb was an hour away, and then our second Airbnb was about 35 minutes away. It just did not make sense to come here and maintain the garden and film, especially with so many people in and out of the house doing work. So I figured, you know, the summertime is typically the most hostile time to garden. It always gets overgrown, even with my most diligent efforts to avoid that. So just let it go. So one of the really exciting parts of the renovation is I got my kitchen fully renovated, and I cannot wait to give you guys like a kitchen reveal. We still are waiting for our countertops to be installed and everything like that. We're still kind of like in that process. So there's nothing to show there yet, but the really cool part for the channel is I'm going to start embracing more cooking videos, because that is also like a huge part of something that makes me is cooking. So if there's a gardening, then there's a cooking part, and I've never really been able to showcase that as much as I wanted to in the past, because it was just super hard to film in my kitchen, although I did give it my best shot. If you're not aware, I actually went to culinary school. I'm a classically trained pastry chef, and I have worked in the food industry as a pastry chef, and I'm actually, I would say, almost more passionate about the savory cooking side than the pastry side. Now, all of this really ties together with my whole homesteading and like living off the land and eating what you grow type of mentality. I love learning new things about food preservation. I love taking in the things I started from seed and seeing those fruits turn into amazing canned food that we can use to nourish our family. So it's all going to come full circle. I'm going to be able to provide so much new content to you guys with that aspect. So I figured, you know, it's a little bit of a step back for some time, not filming and posting, but moving forward, I'm going to resume my normal weekly posting routine. Now, all has not been fully lost with, you know, leaving my garden for a few months. And let me just say, as I just touched on a few moments ago, my garden typically gets like this every July. I mean, it's not uncharacteristic for the garden to just be out of control, except for this year, I just didn't put in all the backbreaking effort, and I wasn't frustrated the whole time because I was putting in a whole bunch of effort to avoid that, with it still happening. So July is typically really rough on the gardens in the state of Florida, just because it's ridiculously hot. Yesterday it was 95 degrees. Our AC can't even cool down below 79 degrees, even if it's set down to like 75. So that's kind of the environment and the volatile place that we're working with. Our peak, I would say, following spring really comes in May through June, and then July it's toast. So if you are a Florida gardener, I mean, you can do what you want. Start a garden now if you want. Of course, I'm not here to tell you, because I don't like following the rules necessarily, but if you do want to set yourself up for success, I would say now would be the time to focus on getting your fall garden ready, getting some of those seeds prepared, because we can hit a second wind coming up in late August through September. That is absolutely incredible. Now I'm starting to think onions already. I'm starting to think cold stratification for garlic already. So there's a lot of things that I feel like I'm almost behind the ball on, because July just starts to kind of set the foundation for those types of sensitive crops that are a little bit tricky in Florida if you don't hit the timing right. Now I want to take you guys over and just show you some of the things that continue to grow without any garden intervention from me at all. And these are the things, funny enough, that I always say just do so well in Florida, where there's some things that just don't. So it just reconfirms my feeling on these particular crops in Florida. The only pumpkins I'm ever able to grow successfully are the ones that seed themselves and decided they're a volunteer. The seeds from another pumpkin just ended up germinating and they did their own thing without me planting it, or a pumpkin that I've absolutely neglected. Now, if I was to, I'm gonna try to take this pumpkin off without destroying it. Now I'm confident that if I was to have nurtured this pumpkin, then it would not have grown. I don't know why, but for some reason I have an awful time growing that type of winter squash in Florida. But look here. I got one luxury white pumpkin that grew despite me being gone, and it looks like that is just about the only luxury white pumpkin that grew. I'll give you a closer look, but she's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna bring this one inside, and I might even try, because it's been out here for a while curing, I might even try to keep it for Halloween. I don't know, we'll see. My son might be super excited to cut it open because he's really fascinated with pumpkin seeds all of a sudden and eating them. So we'll see how long it lasts, but I grew one beautiful pumpkin, and there's nothing, like no bugs got into it, nothing. I have a few rather large star and moon pumpkins. Now these have done really well. I actually planted, or not pumpkins, watermelons. I actually planted a few different varieties of watermelon, and this is the only variety that just did really great. And again, I have not been here for about 2 months. So take that into account when you're picking your watermelon seeds. If you want some type of plant that maybe does better than another variety as far as watermelon, with not tending to it very often, these ones did great. I have them all over the entire garden. Now these are definitely ready to pick because the tendrils are nice and brown. Actually, I think all of these watermelon are a little bit overripe. I should have brought like a little thing out here to cut them, but we got ourselves a big star and moon watermelon, which, as you can see, it gets that name from all those little speckles on there, which is super cool. I'll show you some of the other ones I have growing in the garden because some of them are a lot bigger than this. Now this one's actually not ready. The tendrils, which is this little like loop-de-loop thing closest to it, is still green. So we're gonna leave her alone. And I do think that this one's gonna do really well because it looks like the leaves have just situated themselves perfectly where it's providing a lot of shade to the watermelon. So that one's gonna be really great. I'm just not gonna pick it yet. I've got another little one growing over there. Now I do really like growing watermelon in the summertime because I feel like they're very efficient at smothering the weeds, since their plants or their vines are all over the place, and it really helps to, you know, block the light from the weeds that want to kind of poke through. Now I have, let's see if I have any more of the moon and stars that are ready to pick. Now I have this one too. I'm trying not to like accidentally sit on a stinging nettle. And by the way, if you have been following my strawberry journey, these were all strawberries all down the line. I think I had like about 100 strawberry plants. A lot of them are still hanging on. You can't really see them because there's watermelon vines all over them, which I will change that. But they're doing really good. So those are pretty resilient. This one, this star moon does not look like it's ready either. It looks like the tendrils are just starting to get a little brown right here. This one looks like a Halloween decoration. So I'm gonna leave this one alone, and this one I'm gonna try to make, I don't know, move it somewhere. It'll turn into fertilizer, you know. Now let me show you what else has grown really well. Next, I'm in my spaghetti squash patch. These have grown absolutely amazing as well, with absolutely no tending to it. These plants are not complicated. So if you love eating spaghetti squash, which I actually do really love eating spaghetti squash, I think it's a really good like low carb alternative. I think it just tastes really good too. Grow spaghetti squash if you live in a harder climate. I have, I don't know, like about 10 growing, and they have been naturally curing. So I've had them out here, of course, for a few extra weeks curing in the sun, which will in turn make them last longer for long-term storage. Now all the spaghetti squash I'm picking right now are the ones that just have like a totally dead vine. I'm not picking the ones that look like they're kind of hanging on. Actually, a lot of them are kind of like that. So I've got these two right here. They look like they've been out here for long enough and they've cured for long enough. Ooh, there's some eggs on these ones. I don't know if my makeup is like totally melting off my face right now because it went from being like kind of a not so hot morning to what the heck just happened. As soon as the sun came out, it is so hot right now. So we're moving on to the butternut squash, which I find does so well, at least in my garden, every single year. I've got one right here. What you'll want to look for is for them to be kind of like creamy in color and like start to darken before picking them, or for the like vine part to start kind of browning off. And it is recommended to cure these. Now I don't know the technical way to do it. I've just always kind of left them out here for like 2 weeks in the sun, and that's worked. And I don't think that is the recommended method of curing your crops. But that's, I mean, I feel like it's like kind of like the natural way to do it. So I know you can kind of do it on like a big rack and keep them airflow and all of that, and that's what most people would recommend. So I'm gonna bring in that butternut squash. Now I have a ton of butternut squash growing right here. I don't know if you guys can see. These are not quite ready yet, but they're really close. And then all the way on this side, we have a bunch more growing. So these ones are definitely ready. Like look at right here, they're nice and brown. And might have gotten some critters into this one, but this one's ready. I have another one. So I love eating butternut squash. I think not only should you grow things that do well in your environment, but only grow things that you actually enjoy eating. Otherwise, you're just kind of wasting a bunch of garden space for no reason, unless you just love seeing things grow successfully in your garden, which I'm guilty of, even though I may not enjoy eating that particular crop. So butternut squash for the win if you live in a hot and volatile environment. Whew. Okay, now I feel like this is not too shabby for, you know, not being here for so long. Definitely makes me excited to get back into the garden. What to expect from me moving forward, especially over the next few weeks, you're going to see a lot of content regarding cleaning this mess up, which I actually like watching that type of stuff because it's really cool to see a complete disaster turn into something that, you know, looks nice and clean and organized. I hope, fingers crossed. So that is going to be my goal, on top of starting seeds, on top of doing my garlic stuff and thinking about onions and whatnot, because last year I kind of had like an accidental successful onion patch growing, and that was just the coolest thing ever. And I still have those onions. We actually took our onions with us where we went for our Airbnb while we were gone out of the house, and we were eating them every night, and it made us feel closer to home. Like I took all my tomato sauce and we would make like, you know, spaghetti and go, oh, this is from our garden, this is from our garden, and it would make me feel like, okay, I'm still connected to the garden in some way, enjoying our produce. So I definitely plan to get all that kind of stuff going and do more cooking videos, maybe more than one upload a week. I'll try my best. I had to stand up because I didn't know if I was going to get bit by ants. Now, I'm not going to lie, before I came out here today, I was a little bit nervous thinking, you know, how's it going to be? Do I even know how to work this camera still? But I was really excited, and once I got started, I felt so great just to be back out here. I love creating content. I love helping educate people on things that I'm so passionate about. Gardening, growing your own food, making a little bit of a difference wherever you can is something that is really important to me. So if you enjoy this type of thing, food preservation, learning how you can do something like this for yourself, even if it's on a small scale, definitely consider subscribing to my channel, because over the next few months, I really hope to transform the garden and just take it to the next level. My name is Shelby, and until next time, bye.